Hello, everyone. I'm the Gourd King.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sauron. We just say our names. I'm Chris, and I'm Adam, and we don't know how to. I don't know how to podcast.
We don't podcast, and this is Postmortem Week, where we give maybe one or two quick videos on some shows that just ended, and we want to get our thoughts out there, but didn't want to give a full episode, so we get Postmortem Week. Thanks to our Patreon for making all this possible. You guys are the best.
Man, like a lot of assumptions, but yeah, we're gonna try to do this every once in a while, depending on how shows end, where we'll post a postmortem episode or two, or depending on how many ever shows we finish end in those weeks.
Yeah, so for the first one, Rings of Power ended, and we have to talk about that since we already did an episode about it, but...
Yeah, but this one was, we finished most of them in the first time we did it.
Yeah, I think there's only like 2 episodes left that we haven't covered, right?
3. But most of it's the last episode.
Yeah.
I think is the important stuff. So, do you want me to...
Well, are we going to go overall thoughts first, or...?
Oh yeah, we can give spoiler-free, I guess.
Okay. I really liked this show until these episodes. Now it just pisses me off.
Okay, yeah, I assumed there'd be some disdain for it.
I'm definitely not one of the people like hardcore Tolkien fans that have been frothing at the mouth this entire time.
Yeah.
But now I'm just mad that they that like started off really promising and is now just kind of a mediocre fantasy show. We'll get more into that, but
this is probably one of the hotter takes, thought it was fine the same way throughout the entire show. I don't think much in terms of quality changed, in my opinion.
Well, okay.
In terms of story and character. The whole show's like very...
You know what? I agree. It's just a few plot points and very specific things that made me just go like...
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So, episode 6.
Well, before we do that...
Oh, yeah, sure.
We don't have tea time today. Apologies. This is our postmortem. Tea time's dead for today.
Also, we just ate a lot of food, so I don't want tea.
Yeah, so I have Cane's tea. We're not sponsored. We can be.
We can be. You know, we could be the other 2 blonde dogs on your wall in the Canes. Am I getting my restaurants right?
I think there's some dogs and they're blonde, yeah.
Okay.
But we're not blonde.
I can fix that in post.
I mean...
I'll put it in the thumbnail.
There
Make
you
us
go.
blonde.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so postmortem, we talk about the 3 episodes of Rings of Power. These are all spoilers now. Episode 6. What happens? This? Oh, I put touching grass.
Touching grass.
Yeah.
Is this like the flashback with Galadriel, or
no? This is Adar. He starts off with the army of orcs.
Oh,
he's
right.
Touching grass.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he's going outside unlike some people.
He's working on his self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a healthy mental state right there.
I said the orcs look great. I thought.
Well, yeah. Orcs,
it's
pretty fucking good.
I just have to keep saying, because like the way that some of them like move and talk, I was just like, this is well done. Like,
Yes.
They put a lot of money in the show, man.
Oh yeah. What was the budget? Like 100 mil or something?
I think it's closer to, I don't know. I want to say it's closer to $1 billion, but
I'm pretty sure it's so far the most expensive TV series
by far,
produced.
I think,
yeah.
I said Arondir. Oh yeah. Why? I don't know. Like, they were laying siege to this small tower or whatever that all the people were supposedly in before, and they just walk up in a straight line to the thing, and they don't try to go around it at all. The orcs.
Yeah, so I remember we talked a little bit about tactics in film in our first episode, but yeah, I mean, truly the strategic move like that would have actually been done in real life in that situation would just be to like either ignore the tower completely or just like stand guard around it so they starve to death.
Yeah,
like they had no reason to actually like invade the space of the tower at all. That part doesn't really make any sense, but
As we touched on before, they don't make sense usually. Like
Yeah. I mean, that's not the part that pissed me off.
No, yeah.
So I'm fine with that so far.
Oh, there's this random thing that happened in episode 6 for Isildur. He fucking takes a bite of an apple.
Is he still on the ship?
Yeah,
Or, okay.
they're sailing to Middle Earth, and so he takes a bite of an apple. He lets the horse bite it, then he bites it again, and then he just chucks the rest of the half apple
That's right.
off of the ship. And I was so confused. I was like, what was the point of that? Like, why did you do all of that? I was very taken aback.
I think it's supposed to show that he has like a close relationship with his horse, but he could have finished the apple.
I just said, I literally said, the fuck was Isildur doing with that apple?
He's getting his nutrition, dude. He's
he
trying not to get scurvy on this.
He took
on
2
this
bites.
voyage.
2. That's not a lot.
He just doesn't like apples.
Whatever.
He took a bite of the apple. He's like, "Oh, this is pretty good. Here, try this, horse." And then the horse bites it, and he's like, "Oh, you got all your slobber on it. Doesn't taste good anymore."
Yeah. Going on to, I just put Elendil, the captain.
The Isildur's dad.
Yes, I put his wife drowned, and then as we go through the episodes, I put a lot of I put drowning, like as
Drowning.
I just put drowning because that's a recurring theme in this show. A lot of drowning.
Yes, figurative and literal.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see. I put. Oh, I put foreshadowing because Theo, Bronwyn, and Arondir were like talking about like being a family together, and I was like, oh, they're not all gonna be together or whatever. I put Theo, Bronwyn, and Arondir aren't gonna all make it out together because they said, oh, we'll all make it out and plant these seeds that we have, and then this is one of the things that bothered me. Fucking 10 fake out deaths for the mom. Like,
oh yeah,
I was like, fuck, was this One Piece? Like, the fuck?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, they probably just should have killed her because at this point she doesn't really have a purpose in the narrative. At least after episode 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine to be alive, but like, don't pretend like you're gonna make some big moves or whatever.
Yeah, the more times you fake out someone's death, the less tense future scenes become. Which, you know, I mean, again, this isn't the part that really pissed me off, but
It frustrated me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So, I put it's Orkin time.
it's Orkin time.
Yeah, because all the orcs came by, and then the big fights. I liked them being trapped a little bit, and using the fire and stuff to trap them, and then shooting arrows.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought that
like
was a pretty cool sequence. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, not very like tactically sound at all, but it's still a line of logic that you can follow throughout the chaos of the filmed fight. So I'm fine with it.
yeah. I thought one of the things I thought was really dumb was that they revealed like, oh, these were humans. They were men. Oh, we can't believe we were killing men and not orcs. And I was like, duh, what do you think was going to happen? These guys literally betrayed you guys to go with them, and you thought they were just going to not do anything? Like, to me, I was like, that's such a dumb, like if I was fighting these enemy, right? And then I had like, you go over to the enemy side and be like, oh yeah, we're just going to support them. My thought was, oh, I have to be ready to fight you too. Not,
Yeah.
what? Adam, that's Adam.
Although I will say that this could have been done like actually really well if they didn't already know that they had humans on the orc side as well. But
yeah, they could have pulled like the Dark Knight with the Joker. It's a similar thing that happened.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, in the Dark Knight.
Like when Batman punches the Joker, he's like, "Oh my God, you're a human too?"
No,
I didn't realize.
When the Joker inside the big building switches the roles, where all the captives are the ones with guns, and all the people with guns are actually like real captives because they're like taped to fake guns and stuff, and they have the masks on. Do you not remember this?
No, like at the very end with the boats.
Before that, in the big building.
Oh, at like the penthouse party, where he like throws Rachel out a window or whatever.
No. After that. They're in a big building.
Okay.
And the Joker has a bunch of captives in there. And then the police are like, oh, we're going to shoot the people with guns. And then Batman goes in and is like, wait, no, these are actually the real captives. And they take off the masks and they're all taped up and stuff. And then he looks at the captives and then they try to shoot him. Because they switch roles so that the police can kill the wrong people. You not remember this?
I do not remember this part of The Dark Knight at all. I wasn't the biggest fan of The Dark Knight, so...
More disappointment. Well, that happened. And that's what I thought was going to happen. Then they just a worse version of that.
Yeah, they could have set it up better for, like, oh, we gotta fight off the orcs. This land is for the humans, the Southlanders. But then it's like, fuck, I killed the Southlanders too. Yeah, but that's like what they executed, but they didn't really set that up very well, so it fell flat. But again, not the part that pissed me off.
We got Sons of the Dark, the first orcs, Uruk. The elves were the first orcs.
Yes.
That's neat. I don't know how that works.
It's also something that we knew from Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
I haven't watched them in forever. Leave me alone. Adam, stop yelling at me. Stop it.
Lord of the Rings is the best music video.
Cool. I put Sauron was missing something. I put he's a foil. I put Halbrand. No, I put Sauron was a foil to Galadriel before some of the stuff because he was like after this, this power that he was trying to finish, kind of like how she was after, him, like just them on this devoted mission. That's kind of utterly pointless, overall.
Well, does that make them foils to each other, or does that just make them like
They're
parallel?
More parallels.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, they're foils to each other later, but
we're not English majors.
I put Adar killed Sauron. I put Galadriel's racist because she's okay with massacring the orcs.
Yes.
I was like, wow, Galadriel, that's mean.
Yeah, so speaking of that, in high fantasy stuff, it's a pretty common trope for elves to be genocidal. So I'm guessing that Lord of the Rings and earlier Tolkien stuff is where that started. But
rude. Messed up, man.
He also started the trend of having elves be, like, tall.
Really?
Yeah. Because like, elves in folklore are like little Keebler elves.
Yeah. Kind of almost like gnomes.
Yeah, yeah.
Or pixies or fairies or whatever. At this point, I put Galax Hal, because they were kind of, like, looking at each other.
Galax Howl?
Like a ship. Like a romantic ship.
Yes.
Yeah. I put
Galadriel X Halbrand.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
And then at this point, I put on the side Halbrand Prob Sauron, because I was I'm getting vibes that like, oh, he hates Adar because Adar killed Sauron, and something happened to like Halbrand. I was like, oh, and he's done some messed up stuff, and I was like, I think he might be Sauron.
Okay, so you caught on to it before I did then.
Yeah, but spoilers for the next episodes. But I put wrong. And so I crossed out my theory, and then I crossed out my wrong. And I put, I was right. But yeah, the old man got away with the sword. Oh, right, because he stole the Morgoth sword thing, and then and then it made the volcano explode.
Yes. Okay, this is when I started to get a little bit peeved.
Oh, okay.
Because the sequence of events that led to the sword activating Mount Doom didn't make a whole lot of sense. For example, let me ask you, how did the old man get the sword? How did he get it?
I have no idea. I was wondering that too.
They established like 30 minutes earlier that the elf cop hid the sword somewhere, and it was important that no one but him knew where it was. And then later, when they're all being held hostage, the kid is like, "Oh, I have the sword right here. I'll just give it to you so you spare the life of my mother and my village or whatever."
Yeah.
So he gives him the sword, and it's like, okay, I mean, they already said that you didn't know where it was, so why do you know where it is? But you know, whatever. They could have made it so that the elf guy gave it to them too, so it doesn't really change the plot in a huge way, right? It's just one character decision. But then they win the battle because the orcs get flanked by the Numenorians.
Yeah.
And then when everyone's celebrating, the boy opens up the satchel, and it's just a random ass tomahawk.
Yeah.
And we hard cut to the old man with the dagger, using it for its intended key-like purpose. And it was never explained how he got it. There was never an establishing shot. Yeah, how to get the sword.
My thought was that maybe, because I thought they showed Adar talking to the old man a little bit about, like, the sword. So I'm thinking that maybe it's supposed to be suggested that he swapped it with him, or he just gave it to him and then they put it in something else. But it's a larger jump for us to make that assumption ourselves.
It is a huge, like, leap for the audience to make. Like, if you're... When you want to have someone have a suspension of disbelief, you want to make their job as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And they're making us do some work here.
I agree.
I'm sitting down. They want me to do jumping jacks. I ain't doing that.
So
That's probably the thing that pissed me off the most, because it very much felt like a complete ass pull. Because, like, where did he get the sword? He pulled it out of his ass.
yeah, it was in there the whole time.
But yeah, Mount Doom explodes, and now the Southlands officially becomes Mordor or whatever. And we go on to
That was a
episode
cool
7.
scene. I don't know about you. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the CG was really cool. Like, lots of smoke. They drowned in the smoke.
Galadriel just like, I'll just take it.
Fuck, I'm standing in awe of this, just like my friend stood in the awe of the tree in the west on the boat.
Yeah. Episode 7.
Episode 7. What happened in episode 7, Chris?
The Eye.
Disappoint me more.
Episode 7. The old man is being scarier. Oh, right.
Oh yeah, this is
he was healing the tree, and then
he's healing the tree, and the tree exploded, and they're like, "What? Why would you hurt the child?" And then I am in the audience, just like, she walked forwards. It was her fault. Everyone else was standing in like a perfect 10-foot radius semicircle around the tree, and then she's the one who just walks forward, like, "Oh my god! Wow, it's working."
Yes. Elrond ass. Oops.
Elrond's ass.
Yeah, is sexy for Durin the Fourth.
Oh boy.
Durin and Elrond are still probably the best characters in the show.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
He's asking the dad for help, and he's just like, no.
No, we cannot risk dwarven lives.
Yeah. Let's see, they're about to leave. They said, yeah, but look at Mithril cure the tree. Ooh, look at this.
Look, the leaf, it good now.
Yeah. Then we cut back to the humans, and I said the queen's blind. I was like, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that there are consequences to plot points.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I genuinely did not think Isildur was dead.
I know for a fact he isn't.
Oh, he isn't.
Yeah, because in the opening sequence to Lord of the Rings, we are told and shown in flashback that Isildur is the one to cut the ring off of Sauron's hand, and that's how they win the war.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler.
I didn't know that.
In a really cool sequence on screen, by the way. Again, you should watch Lord of the Rings again.
I need to watch Lord of the Rings again. I put Nori, sorry.
Nori. Okay.
I put she's jaded now. She's just like, oh, we just gotta stay in our place as Harfoots, you know. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you know, I tried being the grass that grew higher, but then the world cut me down.
yeah,
And so now I just want to settle down and wheel these wagons until I die.
yeah,
And they banish the big man from the tribe, and the priests come looking for him.
yeah,
The really cool looking priests.
yeah. Really cool.
We still don't really know what they're about, but they look pretty cool.
Yeah, they are real. Galadriel mentions her husband, which I thought was weird.
Yes.
Because
That was never established earlier.
this is the only
think.
time the husband is mentioned in the entire show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I care? like
With the brother, we got some flashbacks. It's like, oh, he gave her a knife, and it's and she really likes the knife. Started again, Chris.
Whoa.
Whoa!
What was that? A hat. Crazy, funky, junky hat. You're done.
Smoke a crack.
You know where my song was from?
No.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
Ooh.
It's a cut right there.
Yeah.
What were we saying?
I'm a wiki,
Oh, Galadriel's
wiki
husband.
Wizards of the Place. You cut this part out.
Galadriel has a husband that we never hear from.
Yeah, I've never mentioned. It's the only time it's mentioned. Just fucking whatever. We don't even know what he looks like. Cool. Move on.
Durin and Elrond get in trouble.
There's
His
a-
dad forsakes him.
They start mining, but they don't. Dad doesn't want them to mine. He's like, well, I exile you.
I like Durin standing up for himself, though.
Yeah.
that.
He continues to be the best part of the show. With Elrond.
Yeah, agreed. I
Yeah.
easily agreed to that. The strangers in white have similar magic to the old man. Isildur's horse mourns him.
Yeah, Isildur was lost in the fire after the volcano exploded.
Yeah.
But we know he doesn't die because I saw the movies a
I
whole
didn't
bunch
know
of
that.
times.
I don't know. I'm still lost. He's dead.
Someone else takes up the name Isildur and carves the ring from Sauron's hand.
Amen. I had a question.
I might answer it.
Why did Galadriel and Theo go off on their own in the first place? Weren't they with everyone?
Well, you see, that is a good question. But I didn't ask it because I kind of like their dynamic.
I kind of did too. But when they went back to the... when they got back to the rest of the people, I was like, I'm pretty sure they were right next... They were, like, right next to, like, Isildur and the Queen.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know if that was a weird transition, but I thought they were right next
I mean,
to
I
them.
can still buy them getting lost in the chaos of the smoke and the ash. But,
See, I would if they weren't trying to get with the rest of the group and they're supposed to be like, or Galadriel's supposed to be one of the more competent people, and everyone else was fine though in terms of gathering.
yeah, I like, for a while there, I thought, and was also hoping what happened, like, Galadriel would take young Gus, well, I forget his name,
Theo,
as like an apprentice,
Yeah.
or a
It was
squire
kinda
or
cool.
something. I thought that would have been pretty cool, but nope. Theo just goes back with the villagers and tries to be a freedom fighter for the Southlands.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So after the time skip, when we get to season 2, he'll be like a general or something.
That'd be cool. I said, why another Bronwyn fake out death? Because this is when Theo was looking through the dead bodies. I was like, oh, is that my mom? She didn't say that, but...
Oh my
It
god,
made
mother!
me-
Oh, they killed you, mom! Oh, hey, mom, how's it going?
That's basically what happened, man. I put Muriel is ready for round 2 against the orcs. She was she was ready for another fight.
Which one is Muriel?
The queen.
Oh,
The Blind Queen.
okay.
And then I put the captain. He was really sad. I really liked his acting, I guess, because he was like just crying a lot because he thought his son died or Isildur died.
Yeah.
Which I understand. And then he got mad at Galadriel, but I was just like, you were going off to fight. I mean, you had a scout, but you were prepared to defend people, right? Why are you surprised? Like, I don't know. There was a lot of times like in this where I guess the human groups were kept being surprised by things that happen that I thought was like an expectation to occur. I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting too much stock.
Well, I mean, I think the problem is more that we're finding problems with it because it's just not as good as we wanted it to be.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
Because like there is a very there's a very likely scenario where the captain is mourning Isildur while they're still on the mission.
Yeah.
But since you're asking why is he completely surprised? Like this wasn't something that could happen, you know. It's I'm saying it's not your fault. It's the fault of I don't know, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, Bezos.
Bezos.
Pretty good.
Well, you were like really quiet, so
I wasn't actually mad at him.
yeah, neither was I.
Wow.
It's called acting, Chris.
Nah, we're podcasting. We're not acting. Nori and Fam and Sadok are going to look for the old man.
Oh no, the wizards are after the old man. We have to warn him.
But Halbrand is dying. Durin's wife is getting mad. She's like you should be king, like not your brother. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? Why is she turned all like evil all of a sudden? Or like, oh, your old man's getting old and decrepit. You should be king.
Well, that's just because she was mad that he like exiled Elrond and like, no, you can't mine the Mithril.
I agree.
And she's like, why can't she mine the Mithril?
But like, I don't know, the way that she was saying it and like her face, not the music, because the music was kind of going the opposite way of this. But I was like, the way that it's framed, right? It looks like she's evil. It just felt very weird.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
That's what it seemed like from just like her expressions and the way she was talking. But like the actual context of it and the musical score like was much more like uplifting or like not somber. But
so you're saying that it was a darker scene, but they executed it like an uplifting motivational.
I'm just saying
speech.
that there was a contradiction, and I'm not sure where it wanted me to put my perception on it. Right, like it seemed like it had mixed messaging in terms of portraying the scene. Right.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Maybe, but that could pay off. But
maybe she's Sauron.
Maybe she's Sauron. Do 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 do.
She's Sauron.
Sauron. I put Balrog at the bottom of the Mithril mines.
Yeah, that felt very pandery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'd be fine with it if it was just like in the smoke, eyes open and then close. But then they had to like go showing off the full face and body of the Balrog screaming into the camera, and it's like, put on your 3D glasses now. And I'm just like,
Yeah, it does seem like that. I put Adar lives.
Because we saw that he got out of the chains or whatever.
Yeah. I think he's probably one of the more interesting characters.
Yeah, I'd say that as well.
Which isn't a terribly high bar, like, in my opinion.
I like Adar. I think he's cool.
I like that he said, "Oh, I didn't want to fight for Sauron because he was just sending all of us to die." That's why I said that he was a parallel to Galadriel. Because they were both sending a bunch of people to die for the sake of their own mission, which everyone thought was stupid. Let's see. That's kind of the Southland burns away and says Mordor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Mordor.
Mordor.
That's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Any other problems for that episode? Or is
How'd he get the knife?
who?
The old man. How'd he get the sword?
That's the main problem.
It pissed me off, Chris. How'd he get the sword?
Like I said, maybe it was just like a brief interaction and they're like, oh yeah, you have to get this done. But it wasn't so long that it was clear for people to observe. I don't know.
Like
I would have to rewatch one of the scenes and be like, oh, this was actually shown a little bit more. But as a first watch, just to experience it, it was not clear enough to show the progression of how this happened, right?
Yeah. Like, okay, here's a perspective, right? If I'm watching your show and I'm thinking of all the ways that I could have made it better, like, oh, if I was director, I would have had this scene go here, but with this and a boop 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 boop, so it would make more sense. Then something's not quite right. Because I'm not a director.
Yeah, I mean,
or a writer.
It's one of those things where it's like you know what would be tailored better for you to be more comfortable with it. Obviously.
Well, yes, that, but I also feel like I if I was in the writer's room or in the editing offices or whatever,
yeah,
I could have been like, hey, couldn't we do this so that this makes more sense?
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think that I want to say that there was a scene that have them talk a little bit, but because it was very brief, like you cut that scene out of your timeline, right? Because it's not like super clear cut. Because I could have sworn Adar talked to the old man briefly after they took the sword. I thought that, but maybe my mind is making up stuff for the lack of information that we got. So I don't know. But I agree that if you're pointing out too many problems, that you're right, like what you said earlier. We're pointing out too many problems. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, we could just be that we're a little critical, but I mean, there are some other stuff that other shows do that we don't do that for.
Yeah.
So, like what?
Like Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't have written Breaking Bad.
I couldn't have written Breaking Bad.
That shit was pretty good.
That was really good. Anyway, Alloyed, both. All I thought was Mikola. As soon as I read the I thought, like, I just kept thinking of Mikola, and I was like, Mikola, the Unalloyed. Play Elden Ring.
You should, yes. It also has a big tree in it.
Yeah, it's inspired. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. It's better than Rings of Power.
That is true. I put Aaron Gallon the Greenwood. Why did I put that?
Why did you put that, Chris?
Location, I guess. Transformation powers from the white people.
The white people. Oh yeah, this is where we have the fight between the wizards, the old man, and the Harfoot companions.
Yeah.
Where this was also like, okay, for the most part I was fine with this sequence, but there was one thing that really pissed me off.
Okay.
So, throughout the entire show, for the most part, I think they do a pretty good job of emulating the flowery language of Tolkien for the dialogue. There is some stuff where they stumble a little bit, and that's fine because overall it's still good. But for the old man, his whole character arc with Nori and the Harfoots is him trying to figure out if he's good or evil.
Yeah.
And at the very end of the fight, after he's remembered how to speak and gained some memories back, once he grabs the white kid's stick.
Sure.
And right before he gives the final flash of light to finish them all off or whatever. He just says, "I'm good." He could have just said nothing and it would have been better.
I don't remember him saying something. I just remember it happening. But I'm sorry that they're bad at writing.
Like it feels like the show is like patronizing me because
Yeah.
it's like, I get it. He's Gandalf. He doesn't need to tell me that he's a good person. But then the culmination of his character arc is just being like, I'm the good guy. Winks at camera, kills white guy.
Yeah, and then the white guys are like,
Oh no, he's a good person.
yeah, he's not Sauron.
Oh no.
Which, how did they confuse that? How did they confuse Sauron with a wizard?
Well, they probably just didn't know what Sauron looked like. I mean, we don't really know much about the cult.
Yeah,
I assume they're going to go a bit more in depth about that in future seasons. But because like their whole thing is being mysterious.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. It's just the whole I'm good. Not a big fan of that little piece of dialogue right there.
I put Halbrand taught Okay, well, now moving on, right?
Yeah, the other big twist of the episode.
Well, Halbrand taught Celebrimbor on adding alloy to mithril.
Yeah. Hey, what if we mix this metal with other metal?
Yeah, and so I've heard a lot of things about this entire sequence where, like in the book, they were he manipulates Celebrimbor for a long time, and that why did Celebrimbor just think of that? Is he a master smith? Stuff like that, and I'm just kind of like, I guess I don't know. Like I'm not a book reader, and I guess the adding alloys thing is kind of dumb because you would think someone that knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
even if they don't do it themselves.
Yeah, I agree, but at this point, I just became so jaded with the show that I'm like, yeah, of course the Metal Master doesn't know about alloys. Of course he doesn't.
It's so fucked.
So they get on to making, with some trials and tribulations, much experimenting, they make the 3 rings of power, and there's the big reveal at the base of the river, where Galadriel goes to the library, gets the
Halbrand's lineage
Halbrand's
died 1,000 years ago. or
How
whatever.
is he here? If he's been dead for 1,000 years, then he's like, you fool! I was Sauron the whole time!
Yeah, he did say it like that. he laughed. He's like,
You foolish little elf girl! I was the evil one. I found you in the ocean. It was my doing. Yeah, I don't like this twist, Chris.
well, I expected it earlier on. So.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on it till now because I thought that Halbrand would have just been much more interesting as a character if he really was the King of the Southlands.
Yeah.
So, like, disappointing. Although I will say the visuals for like the flashback sequence when they're like talking in each other's minds was really cool. But
Yeah, that was very cool.
it's still tainted by the whole Halbrand being the Sauron twist.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I didn't like the idea that it's Galadriel's fault that Sauron pushed himself to do these things. Because in the show, Halbrand actively didn't try to do things.
Yeah.
And then Galadriel pushing him to do these things. And then
Yeah,
him
like
saying-
why would Halbrand suddenly gain motivation to be evil after he was crowned to be king for a kingdom he didn't even want to rule?
Yeah.
Like, if he really was Sauron, why wasn't he just seeking power the entire time? Why wasn't he enthusiastic about being king of the Southlands?
Yeah. I think a cool idea of just him being crowned and then realizing he's like, oh yeah, I am above these people. Like, this is the spot I should be on. Is interesting.
Yeah, they could have like had some screen time about that. Maybe like a dialogue with Galadriel or the Queen of Numenor.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
Yeah. I think some people said that like he wanted to be a smith on Numenor to still make the rings or something. And that's why he was like trying to be a
But
smith
the
there.
way they portrayed it in the show was he was just trying to get by.
Well, not even just that. Well, yes, but also that he was very inactive with a lot of the stuff that he was doing, and yeah, that's why I was like, so is it Galadriel's fault that all this stuff happened? Like, because in the books, from what I've heard, like he does trick a lot of people, but in this one it
This
feels
is a
like
proud moment for me. You know more about the books than I do now.
well, because he transforms into this, I'm assuming a person or a man, and he works with the elves and he tricks them for a long time, and stuff happens, and this is just a quick cut version of that, and I don't know, I think I was gonna say I don't really mind the twist, maybe just because I saw it coming and I was kind of like prepared myself for it. I think I don't know. It just, to me, it's like, oh, they made him look kind of weak in my mind because he's supposed to be Sauron. He got beat up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like, oh, well, I think that now we have a lack of motivation and there's supposed to be conflicting stuff, which could be interesting if they tie it all together, but I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know. Like, because now it seems like he's just going full on Sauron mode of evil, but more
Yeah, he uses evil magic to disappear off screen, and we never see him again.
Yeah. Well, he goes to Mordor.
Oh, was there a shot where he was like in Mordor? Or okay.
Towards the end.
I was seeing red by that time, so I didn't notice.
You're crying blood. And then when Galadriel's like, "Oh, don't ask me about him," and they're just like, "Okay," and everyone's like, "I have to trust you now, I guess."
Well, it's time for the ring fitting. Haha, we have to...
What happened with the other 16 rings?
Okay, so in the movies, they claim that Sauron made all the rings and gave them to all the leaders of Middle-earth, which is a little bit different from the books, because...
Which is a lot different from, so far,
From the show, yeah. So in the books, I believe it's the elves made the 3 for themselves, and then the other ones for the other guys. And then at some point, Sauron makes one ring to rule them all. So I mean, I don't really know the significance of the 3 rings that they made in the show so far.
Gotcha.
I know that at some point, Gandalf gets one of the rings in the books. Like the fire one. There's a fire ring that he gets.
I mean, he is the fire guy, right?
Yeah. So we're probably going to see that in the show for season 2 or 3 or 8.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, the show's called Rings of Power, and we just got the rings, and we don't know if they're powerful.
Yeah, kind of just...
And they're supposed to be able to counteract the tree blight with magic.
With mithril.
With mithril magic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we skipped a couple things just to get to the Sauron bits, but some of the stuff we skipped was Isildur's sister was mistaken by Muriel and told to look at the vision thingy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, by the king, yeah.
I'm assuming the other guy that was Muriel's not partner, but just other worker dude.
Yeah.
He took over the kingdom, kind of.
Oh yeah, and
Gandalf's going to Rune.
Yeah, Gandalf's going to Rune. I'm looking forward to seeing Rune in season 2. When the Numenor army sails back to Numenor, in the bay, there's some ships with banners that are I forget what they look like.
Yeah.
But it's implied that that's bad.
Yes, they do imply that.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see the fall of Numenor in season 2, or something.
Or something.
Yeah.
Muriel won't see it. because she's blonde.
I get it, Chris.
But yeah, so that's kind of. Do you want to go off on anything else on why you hate some stuff?
I mean, we pretty much covered it. I think it was a bit disappointing, really.
Really?
A bit disappointing, I say.
Yeah, I didn't really think.
It's not as big of a letdown as like Game of Thrones season 8 or whatever, but this could have been done better, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was fine throughout most of it. I thought, like, I was fine with it being okay in the beginning because I thought that was more setup. But then we didn't really go anywhere, so I was kind of just whatever. Like the only big plot point was. Well, there's two, which was the Adar and the orcs trying to make Mordor for some reason that they don't say explicitly, and then the tree dying, and both of them weren't like super focused in terms of what was going on, so it's kind of just okay. Like we had Galadriel basically going in a circle,
Going in a ring.
Yeah, going in a ring. And I was just kind of like, whatever. Like, I don't know. There wasn't, besides Elrond and Durin, there wasn't any characters I was like, I care about. Like, they're all just kind of, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but just, they weren't super well-rounded, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I like Galadriel, but she's not the most interesting setup for a character, you know?
Yeah.
She's just kind of like the stoic warrior archetype.
Yeah, which is cool, but
Yeah.
Just
like for me, it started off pretty good. I was quite liking it, and then it became just like fucking whatever. I'm gonna go rewatch Lord of the Rings for the 16th time.
yeah,
and
so overall, it's fine. I don't know. I don't love it. I don't hate it.
I'm not even sure if there's gonna be a season 2, depending on how big the outrage is.
Well, yeah, they spent so much money, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Even if I don't like something, I hate unfinished stories, in my opinion. So even if this story was terrible, like worse than whatever we're thinking, I don't like the idea of an unfinished.
This
story.
is how you know you watch anime. Because you don't like it when things don't end.
Which is funny because I hate endings. I don't like things to end.
See, I really like things to end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think conclusions are for me, the biggest part of a story in terms of what you remember, because that's the last thing you retain. And so if the ending's bad, you're just going to remember it being bad, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you're scared.
Yes. Of death.
But that's... Oh.
Oh, what?
Well, I mean...
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, since you fear it, that makes it all the more bold to have a cool ending, and that makes it a higher risk, higher reward.
Yeah.
But
like Code Geass has a really good ending.
Yes, it does.
Watch Code Geass.
Watch Code Geass. It's better than Rings of Power.
Yeah. We just started listing things better than the Rings of Power. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, this was our bonus episode. I don't know how long it's going to be.
Yeah, I think we said it was going to be shorter than the other episodes, but we ended up going kind of long anyways.
Well, there's some stopping.
We're going to edit it down, so I don't know, maybe it's like half an hour instead of an hour.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll see, I guess. But yeah, this. What timing?
What time? What time is it? It's timing off. Oh, it's the time. Thank you, Patreon.
Yeah, I don't know how to end this, and I don't podcast. Thanks for watching.